Aberdeen in recovery.
Aberdeen in recovery.
Aberdeen in recovery.
Aberdeen in recovery. We're here for you. Building that bridge from dependence to independence.
Good afternoon, everyone. You're listening to Recovery on AiR on shmu 99.8 FM. My name's Dermot, and I'm going to be sitting in the captain's chair today. And I'm joined today by Stephen and John, both from AiR. Just before we move on, a quick shout out to Lindsay. Hope you are doing well, and you are and continue to be in our thoughts. And we send out our love and hugs to you. So, guys, we're down to the three three stooges. maybe that's not the term. Anyway, Stephen, how are you today?
I'm good, Dermot. I'm good today. I'm good.
And John, how are you this bonny sunny afternoon?
Yeah, I'm good. It's, as you say, a lovely afternoon. It's been really nice to actually have some spring, some summer. Actually, we sort of launched from winter into summer, didn't we? It was May was more or less February, and now we're into June, and it's actually July. What happened? But yeah, doing pretty well. So looking forward to the show.
Great stuff, John. Yeah, certainly weather-wise, I think we were all pretty blessed up here in Aberdeen City and Aberdeenshire with some glorious weather over the weekend. And great to hear that we have had the lifting restrictions, which certainly for myself allowed me to have a wonderful day on Saturday spent with my family, feeding my tribe, which is my second bestest hobby. The first one being feeding myself. But yeah, I hope everyone else also got some time to spend in the sunshine with their loved ones. So we are today going on our Lindsay's notes on her calendar. This week we are drawn to the 4, loneliness awareness, and also Men's Health Week. And we thought that would be a nice tie-on into the last couple of shows we've done when we had Alec from Man's Health, Andy's Man's Club along, talking about men stuff or man stuff, and also about the fact that Andy's Man's Club are going to be joining AiR on Monday, the 5th of July, and we're going to be running a man's club from our centre, the Credo Centre in Aberdeen. And also, I think last week's show was speaking with a chap from Samaritans, and again, stressing the importance about being connected. And if you're feeling yourself in that place of loneliness, one of the best solutions that we know of is to reach out.
You're listening to Recovery on AiR at shmu 99.8 FM. Recovery, a journey of discovery.
Today we are not making too much of a stress. But certainly trying to raise awareness around loneliness and how that can be an impact. But we'll also devote some of our time to speak about men's health. So loneliness, I guess it's a topic that often is discussed in some of the things we speak about on our little radio show. I know for myself that there's been times in my life that I have felt, even in company, even in the company of others, a number of others, sometimes in close loved ones' company, and I've felt lonely. I have felt separate, not part of, and it's not a nice place to be. It's confusing very, very confusing. And I think my awareness of that sensations didn't really come about until I got into a recovery process myself. And I guess it's in hindsight that I can look back and see that that feeling of loneliness is something that's I have sensed or I've felt for a great majority of my life. I'm glad to say that today I I can honestly say that it's something I don't find myself caught in very often. I we often use the statement in some of the training courses that we do, and certainly in if we are promoting recovery as a process or the use of recovery tools, that the solution to addiction isn't necessarily abstinence; it's connection. So being connected is a vital importance, is of vital importance to just human beings. I think it's part of our makeup. We are pack animals, I think, and it's something that fundamentally it's in my genes. It is in my genes. People can, I believe, learn to accept loneliness and become um, comfortable in that place. And I'm sure we've all had experiences or we know of someone who seems to like their own space. But today, um, I I can I quite enjoy my own company today, which is really quite a turnaround to where I can remember in the past. What about you guys? Does that the thought of loneliness, is it something that you felt in your own journeys?
Yeah, definitely, Dermot. Like everything you were talking about was just reminding me uh, for so many years caught in addiction. And to be honest, I did not know if I was lonely. I guess I was, but you get what I mean. I did not know. But once I came into recovery, I knew. Uh, and it was like you were talking about. I used to walk about, I could be in a crowd of people and just felt lonely. Thing is, I wouldn't even tell you I was lonely. See, early doors in recovery, because I was like, I can't tell anybody that. You know what I mean? Ken, like a sign of weakness. But, geez, oh, I tell you, like, I thought, I felt like a lost soul. You know what I mean? I felt like a lost soul, and yeah, hat on the head there. Again, like the opposite of addiction is connection. Again, or the opposite of, well, loneliness is connection. You know what I mean? And for me, like pushing through that loneliness, because see when see sometimes, right, like we being in addiction for that long, and then coming into recovery, it was like you were talking about. I was confused. I hadn't experienced living life without a substance. You know what I mean? Like loneliness is uh, is something I would use on. You know what I mean? Because loneliness for me, it changes my thinking, changes my perception. I become fearful, ken, anxious, uh, depressed, ken. So it's like not just a feeling; it's everything else it brings with it. Know what I mean? And like for me, it's like connecting, ken. Like connecting. For me, I was actually walking about lonely. I was walking about hopeless. You know what I mean? I was hopeless. Uh, and I see the more I connected up with people like myself in recovery and like my personal journeys of 12 step fellowship, uh, and we getting involved with that, I gained some hope and faith, because I hated sitting on my own. But now I actually enjoy my own company. You know what I mean? It's been a struggle, uh, but the more I keep doing this stuff, you know what I mean? Uh, it's just easier. I think I'm going off course here, Dermot. I'm sorry.
Brilliant. No,
I'm,
it's so valid what you've said, Stephen.
aye,
So
but
valid. Thank you, John.
Yeah, I probably have a longer history of loneliness than I don't know, would care to admit, or that I had accepted until all of a sudden kind of confronted with it, that there you are on your own. Um, for so many years, I had a really demanding job, and I've, well, I could say the marriage was demanding as well. That's maybe not, but yeah, during those years, that was the focus, I suppose. That was the bulk of what I was doing. And all of a sudden, when redundancy came, and not long after that, my wife left, so the marriage broke down. It was really at that point, I suppose, that I really understood just how much of my social life, I guess, was really about those places, whether it was where I was working or the marriage. So with both those, and I mean, there was obviously both of those very significant life changes, and that was disruptive in its own right. But yeah, then finding, well, there I am, very, very literally on my own. I think I was sort of faced with the fact that I was quite on my own. But even say during that job, and even when I was married, um, to put it this way, I think I was lonely anyway, and it was with those major changes. I suppose the loneliness then became all the more front and center.
Absolutely, well said, John. And yes, it's something that has certainly, as we've all shared, it's had a massive impact on us. It can lead us into places of, as Stephen said, that hopelessness. Um, and it becomes part of our comfort zone, even though it's not very comfortable. It's a place where we find ourselves. And although emotionally, mentally, sometimes physically, it's not a comfortable environment or circumstance to find ourselves in, but it becomes the norm. It becomes the norm. And I certainly know for myself that my escape from that discomfort or dis-ease, not one word, two words. My solution to that was to use a substance because I felt more connected. That solution worked for a lot of years. It worked for a lot of years. It allowed me to engage and to loosen my tongue and to give me confidence and to make me feel nice about myself and nice about others. But whether the rationale and reasoning behind it, I don't know why, and I don't need to, I certainly don't have time to explain. But it's not really important. I know that my dependence on that to change the way that substance, to change the way I felt, became problematic until it was the only succor that I had in my life. So today I am armed with other things that I can utilize to make me feel more connected, to make me feel more part of, and recovery tools, etc. We speak about this on a regular basis. Recovery tools part of that, and it is to the the main topics that is discussed in the self-coaching course, by the way, and a little punt out for ADA, or ADA colleagues and friends. They're kicking off another session of their self-coaching course, which is part of the DART program that commences this week on Wednesday. I was waiting to say tomorrow, but it's actually be yesterday, because as we know, this is pre-recorded. Yeah, so two of the major tools that we discuss and utilize within that is resilience and resilience factors. And part of the 4 factors is that the social aspect. And social, it's all about connection with others. You know, what is our social circle? What who is in our life? And it's a very important part of the structure that supports an individual. The other aspect is discussed in recovery capital, and within the domains in recovery capital, they speak about connections. There's a whole spoke of the recovery capital field is about connectedness, and meaningful engagement is another part of it, and friendships and relationships. Again, another very important part of, me trying to do things and direct and control everything in my life myself. Didn't work out too well. It didn't work out too well. So over a period of time, I had to reconnect with a structure that assisted me. So we are speaking about loneliness and awareness, being aware of loneliness. I I guess so that not to focus on the more negative aspects of this. If we look at the awareness, self-coaching course, it's all about developing self-awareness. It's about the individual. If we're not finding ourselves utilizing a substance or an addictive behavior to distract us from that internal sensations, feelings, thinking, stimulating emotions that transfer into feelings, and they can have an impact on our behaviors. So developing self-awareness is very much to do with what I think we've already spoken about, guys. It's about recognizing there's something within ourselves that is making us uncomfortable and naming it. Yeah, you'll often hear, giving an emotion a name, giving it a title, identifying, giving it a focus. And that loneliness, it's become very important for me to identify that, name it as such, and then take some actions to change it. Because until I know exactly what it is I'm trying to turn round about, I'm not focusing. I'll get distracted. Yeah. So to name that feeling, I'm feeling quite lonely. From that point, you can start using the recovery tools to identify how you can make some changes with it. Yeah. Early recovery, lots of individuals can find that first transition from maybe had to break associations with old friends who were still indulging in old behaviors that you no longer wish to engage with. So you can find yourself feeling lonely. It's Friday night. I'd normally be meeting with the guys and having a game of cards and etc., etc., etc. So if we are no longer wanting to engage in that, early part of recovery it's quite important to not put yourself in places where you will or may be triggered. So you can find yourself with no mates, and that can be impactful. So it's identifying that's what's going on, but taking positive actions to do something different. So the recovery community part of the the ethos of community is connections. Yeah, the recovery community providing opportunities for individuals to be and feel connected and be feeling part of. And I guess for myself, or my understanding, feeling part of something, I have to be engaged with that activity. I have to be interested in that activity. And then I start to commit to that activity. Yeah. So it may be a crafting group. I'll use that. Yeah. I think there's great masses of benefit to be involved in something where you are taking an idea and using materials to build and craft something out of. I think there's something immensely beneficial out of that process. So many different areas, but to engage in that, I've spoken about before about getting involved in mosaicing. When I engaged with that, good idea, let's go try that. I went and I met with a lady who was a skilled mosaic person, a mosaicing person. I don't know if that's the right terminology. Is there a professional term for a mosaicer? I don't know, but she was a wonderfully gifted woman who made some amazingly beautiful ornaments, pictures, everything out of glass mosaics. I spent some time in her company and she showed me, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. And then she left me to get on with it in practice. And she was a great teacher. She didn't take over. She didn't do stuff for you. She done stuff with you. I think that's a skill that individuals can be innately know how to do that, and she certainly was one of them. And when she could see that I was doing things safely, because obviously mosaics is glass and cutting glass, you got to watch what you're doing and little wee splinters of glass and things. Once she knew I was operating safely, she just let me go on with it. But then there was a crafting community that came with that. Yeah. So that's something I could engage with and commit to. Yeah. And be part of. And I think that accountability to something, that is a very important part about being connected. Yeah. What about yourself, John? Have you got any experiences where you have found something that you've engaged with?
Well, I suppose the most obvious answer to that would be this radio program, but of course, Aberdeen and Recovery more broadly. Yeah, volunteering was such an important step for me in early in recovery. Volunteering is an excellent way of getting out there, starting to build some connections, being able to do something you feel good about, feel passionate about, and to something you can share with other people, and learning new skills, including perhaps being more comfortable around people again if it's been a long time. Volunteering is an excellent way to.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what your question was now.
No, I don't think you're explaining it very well. You were speaking about your experience with AiR, and initially we never see ourselves as other people see us, but with that initial engagement, because of an interest in the media aspects, can you see how your abilities and your confidence has grown by the connection that you formed within AiR through the media?
Absolutely. If I was to compare, what I'm doing now and engaging with now, if I was to compare that, my experience now with a couple of years ago, certainly a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have thought it was ever possible. Me being on the radio, are you kidding? That'd be amazing, but that's definitely, beyond what I can do. I think Without a doubt, my confidence and just social skills and it's amazing what you can gain from just engaging with other folk in doing something that you're interested in, passionate about. So yeah, it's been an incredible experience.
Absolutely. And John's maybe a little bit too humble, but I can remember when John wouldn't say 3 words into a mic. And he walked into the studio up at shmu up at Station House, and there was this massive globe on a desk, and actually it was just a microphone. But you would have thought it was a massive globe that John was like, no, I can't speak
Yeah.
that. I will sit over here and I will just push the stopwatch button.
That's right. Yep. It's this gigantic red microphone. You're transmitting to the entire universe. So,
Absolutely. But and I hope John doesn't use me, isn't concerned about me using his example, and I don't think he will be. But pushing through that fears of, and it's slowly, and coming to the point where John is a very much a participant part of this radio show today. So that's a lovely example you have just given us, John, and even though you didn't know you were going to give it. Stephen, connected, being connected. Can you associate with that?
I was actually just laughing there as you were talking because it was reminding me early doors in recovery. Like see early doors in recovery, it was horrible. I couldn't even look people in the eye. I would always think what I was going to say to somebody first. You know what I mean? And it would come out differently. You know what I mean? And I had to push through all that stuff. Kind of like see early recovery, right? I would have, if I was trying to do this stuff on my own, right? I would be in a flat, isolated away. You know what I mean? And what's helped me is connecting with like-minded people. You know what I mean? That are on the same journey as me. And she just be getting encouragement for them to push through my fears, right? Because if I don't, I'm going to sit in the flat, lonely, right? And then I'm going to look for something to fill that void. You know what I mean? But aye, like see, like I got involved in a course. I think I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but it's through a is it a charity based? I don't know if it's a charity, but it's somewhere in Aberdeen. I went. It was a 6 week course. You know what I mean? But like looking back now, it was like connecting with other people. Ken, it was like learning just your basic skills, Ken, communicating with people. Because I was quite awkward, Ken, nervous and that, you know what I mean? But see the way I kept pushing through that stuff, Ken, it just like becomes a habit and it gets easier and easier, you know what I mean? And I was just like thinking as well, as you and John were talking, the amount of stuff I've done. Ken, like I've even like done private courses with close friends. Like it was like awareness courses. You know what I mean? And a certain kind of psychology. But the thing is, it was like the connection, Ken. Like for a guy that was for the streets of addiction, right? Institutions, etc. And jumping about doing holistic therapies, know what I mean? Like if I could see myself, see like 10 years ago looking at myself now, I would, you know what I mean? But see looking back, I even went on firewalks and it was brilliant. Ken, it was brilliant. I was doing things that I could never imagine myself doing, ken. And all that was creating connection for me, ken. I was meeting new people, ken, and what does connection do? It takes the loneliness away. And what does the loneliness do? Brings my state of mind, ken, like my fears, my anxieties, my depression. What what makes me depressed is when, like, if I'm isolated and I'm trying to think myself better. You know what I mean? When I try and think my way to feel better, it's never going to happen, because if I could feel better, if I could think my way into feeling better, I'd be on top of the world every minute, every day. You know what I mean? But I had to realise pushing through my fears, uh, doing a lot of things that Stephen did not want to do. Again, it was like you were talking about, my way and my thinking kept me in addiction for 25 years and got me into many scenarios where, you know what I mean? And see, simplifying it. The first step's admitting, Ken, like, I actually don't know what I'm doing here. Can you better give me a hand here, Ken? Reaching out to people that, like-minded people that's gone through the same stuff. You know what I mean? And it's basically uh, taking on suggestions what's worked for them. But most importantly for me, Ken, it's like uh, putting action in. Ken, and putting action in a lot of the time for me is actually just pushing against my fears. You know what I mean? Ken, like pushing, like my head will tell me, oh, you're no good enough to do that, or you don't know nothing about that. Ken, in some cases, I don't know nothing. It's like even when I came to Aberdeen Recovery, I was a blank canvas, you know what I mean? And I'd be like, right, what do I do here? What do I say? You know what I mean? And then sitting in front of sitting on this radio show, and I'm thinking about what I'm going to say. You know what I mean? While you are all talking, and I just caused myself distress. But I'm probably going off on one here, Dermot. But aye, the point to that is like uh, loneliness can mix with mental health, and that for me, the opposite of that is connection. Can connect him with like-minded people, connecting with, like, getting involved with the stuff that's on offer. See, like on offer in recovery, uh, getting involved with groups, etc. You know what I mean? Like you were talking about the self-coaching, Ken. Um, I'm actually got to be doing that course, and I'm actually looking forward to that course. The more information I could gather, Ken, self-awareness, because my passion is well recovery, right? Uh, I'm passionate about carrying a message to people, Ken. Like, I'm here to carry a message, right? Whether they take it or not is a different story. But Ken, my passion is to put out there, right? Basically, a message of hope. You know what I mean? Because for a hopeless guy that was walking about hopeless for 25 years, I did not think recovery was possible for me until I seen other people doing it. You know what I mean? So if I could do it, anybody could do it. Ken, as long as, like, just putting that action in, and also finding out what's out there, Ken, what's out there and what's on offer. And like we were talking about earlier on, there's a few things on offer, especially with Aberdeen and recovery. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, Steve. Absolutely. Thank you for that.
You're listening to Recovery on Air at shmu 99.8 FM. Recovery, a journey of discovery.
So, our topics today has really taken us into some very meaningful conversation. I think we've all described that scary when we realize we wish to break out of that comfort zone, zone that's now become very uncomfortable, and we are we can often find ourselves restrained by circumstance, financial insecurity, personal insecurity, lack of confidence, etc., etc. But again, I'll fall back to one of the self-coaching tools that is discussed when looking at the comfort zone as as an example or a model. And the way that is suggested to get yourself out of your comfort zone is to set yourself a goal. Is to set a goal that you're emotionally attached to, something that you would like to achieve for yourself. It may be motivated by coercion of a loved one, or because of a circumstance. There may be external coercion, but it's something that will work best for you if you are emotionally engaged and it's something that you want to achieve yourself. And why we stress the importance of that emotional tie with yourself with that goal is because you will hit a fear barrier. When you come out of your comfort zone, you start traveling on that learning journey, and it's and the excitement makes it great at the start, and it's new, and it's everything's seems wonderful, and your experiences, but you will hit, depending on where you are and your emotional wellness, you will hit an emotional barrier which can be called a danger zone. Yeah, and that has been described, I think, by every one of us. We get this idea, and I'm really enthused about that idea. But when we start coming out of our comfort zone, that little tremulous feeling inside, that nerves, that anxiety, oh my God. And John walked into the studio, and that little orange mic that was only the size of a tangerine all of a sudden just ballooned, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, so we have to push ourselves. It is so real that although it's a sensation and empowered by thought, it become a physical barrier. It is as if you need to push yourself through that. And that is why the importance of that goal you have set to be is emotionally connected for yourself, because that can be a pull enough to push you through that fears. Yeah. And the more we do that, the next time we hit an emotional barrier, whether it's maybe going into a bigger crowd of people or into a new environment or being asked to come on a radio show and speak, oh my God, again, we can push through that fear. So the next time we hit the fear, it's not such a big barrier. It's less. We have the experience of getting through this, and you know what? It's okay at the other side, and you achieve and the process. That's why recovery is described as an ongoing process. Yeah, it's facing obstacles, finding ways, and looking at options and different ways to get through that and finding your way through it. So again, these are where recovery tools, as we keep saying, there's often it's not so much physical things that we do, it's approaches that we use. It's processes that we engage in that can shift our personality, shift our thinking, which if we shift our thinking, an outcome of that will be different actions. Yeah, if we can shift that thought. I've often used a description of, as a child, I can recall lying in my bed and that sleepy time that sleepy time of bedtime, and you're just dozing off and you hear a underneath your bed, and you, oh Jesus, what was that? And you sort of look about and oh, it's not nothing. So you put your head back in the pillow and you, oh gosh, what's that? And the more you live in the fear of that, the bigger it gets, and the bigger it gets, and the harder it is to do anything about it. And you start going underneath your covers, and then you say, just stop being silly. And you push yourself out of your bed, and you look under your bed, and it's not a big monster that's got to come up and eat you. It's a little toy that's winding down, that's just in the last bit of its body. So until we face, so it's not until we face the fear that it dissipates and it goes away, and it becomes less of a barrier. And this is all ties in with mental health. Men's mental health, women's mental health, children, adults, grown up, fat ones, thin ones. Mental health, good mental health is about awareness. It's been a terrific show, guys. and I'm so proud of you both to push that you've pushed you through your fears. But I'm going to pass over to John, who's going to give our little closing spiel. Over to you, John.
Oh, thank you, Dermot. And yes, the image of the toy winding down does remind me of Poltergeist. I'm not sure that's exactly where you were going with that, but that's okay. So we've come to the end of our show. Thanks very much for joining us. If you'd like to find out about Aberdeen Recovery, you can check out our website, www.aberdeenrecovery.org. You can give us a call at 01224 638 342 or email us at info@aberdeenrecovery.org. You can follow us on social media on Instagram and Twitter. We are at Republic_AiR, and on Facebook, we are at Aberdeen in Recovery. And you can catch up with previous episodes of Recovery on Air through our YouTube channel, and there are other videos there as well. Just go to YouTube and search for Aberdeen in Recovery, and our channel will pop up. Lastly, if anybody is in need of more urgent advice, please contact Alcohol and Drugs Action Helpline. That's 0333 344 8355.
The flame in our name
is to shine a light onto the pathways of recovery,
which will build a bridge from dependence to independence
for the individual caught in the shadows of addiction
and looking for a way out.